If there was no one to judge you, would you make different choices? Why make choices in your life based on what everyone else thinks is best for you? What about trusting your intuition and just going with what you think? Everyone has the power to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here's the host of Inspired Choices, intuitive life coach, Christine McIver.
Welcome, everyone. It's so wonderful to be back for the second week on the radio show. I am your host, Christine McIver, and I'm so glad to have you with me again. Last week was amazing. It was a new experience for me and maybe for you, some of you out there as well. What we were talking about last week was how you really do have the power to choose and how it can be so empowering to make better choices in your life. Well, I had an amazing response. There was a number of people who emailed in, and I wasn't able to get back to them online. So I wanted to share just one of them with you before we get started on today's show. Now, today's show is going to be all about the power of words and how amazingly powerful you can be in your life today, right now, in the words that you choose. So before we get started, I just want to let you know that I hope you find some answers here to help lead you forward. And remember that no one has the exact answers for you, but just think of yourself as going to a buffet and constantly looking for what it is that you like, what resonates with you, and perhaps you'll leave here with some resources and ideas to better improve the experience or the buffet of your life. So I want to get back to a question that came in from Julie. Julie's question read, I have a friend who's had a boyfriend for 8 years and who's never met any of her family or friends. Something is obviously not right with this situation, and she's become withdrawn and doesn't enjoy things the way she used to. She's hung all her hopes on getting engaged to this man. Obviously, it's never going to happen. My friends and I tried to talk to her about moving on, but she shuts down. What more can we do? I can so relate to what Julie is saying, both from the receiver and from the sender's perspective. Personally, I'll just share with you that in my life, I've had a number of challenges. If you read my profile, you'll read about that. I have been divorced, and I was in a relationship where I was not choosing the best for me. I was choosing to stay with someone who wasn't treating me the way that I wanted to be treated. But when I would leave, I didn't have the self-confidence to stay away, and I would go back to the relationship. And my loving family and friends would really try to, do everything that they can with their words and their actions to have me stay away. But until I was ready, I couldn't stay away. Until I was ready, I had to truly choose for me. But what was holding me back was feeling safe. And sometimes it takes us a number of choices. If you've been somebody who's tried to stop smoking, or you've been somebody who has tried to choose better, sometimes it takes you choosing several times before you're able to finally choose for the last time. Well, what I shared with Julie is the best that she can do for her friend is to love her and be there for her whenever she needs her. Not to judge her or even feel sorry for her, but to see this friend as someone who is a competent, capable woman and someone who can choose to be happy. When we have challenges in our life, sometimes they are there to serve us. I know for me, the challenges that I've had in my life have served me to choose better. But it's my experience that I needed to go through. But here's the big catch. When I was going through that challenge in my personal life, I had a friend, and she knows who she is if she's listening, that was always there for me. She never judged me. She never said, oh, for goodness sakes, you're going back again, Christine. What is wrong with you? Haven't you gotten enough yet? She never said that. So when I kept choosing to leave, when I kept choosing to make a better choice, she was always there supporting me and gently guiding me and helping me. And if I went back, she always just stood there, patiently listening, not judging. I know it's really hard. We want to say, get out of the way of the train. It's going to run you over again. But we can't do that for people. They have to choose for themselves. And we all know that if somebody tries to make us do something, we will usually push back, right? So I wanted to share that with you. I think it's a very empowering thing for us all to learn how to hold our friends and our loved ones gently without being so attached to what they're doing. And honestly, they will often step forward easier and maybe even more quickly when they know that we are not judging them. Okay? So let's get to our topic today, words and the power of words. You know, words are conscious choices if we choose them to be. Or they can be just choices that we're making without thinking about it. I'm sure that maybe you've, like myself, have been talking to someone and before you know it, something comes out of your mouth and you think, oh my goodness, what did I just say? Words can be very powerful and they can create amazing outcomes and sometimes they can have us put our foot in it, right? When you are consciously choosing your words, you can be moving in another direction. Become a deliberate creator of your life and use the words as a tool to help you get in that direction. Now, why are words so important? We often reach towards books to learn, and there are words that we are using. We listen to people speaking. We go to conferences and workshops. We talk to a friend. We may go to someone for counseling, support, coaching, whatever it is, and we're listening with words, and words can impact us. As a young child, have you ever had an experience where someone said something to you and it just felt like they just kicked you right in the stomach? You know the old saying, sticks and stones may break our bones, but words can never hurt us? Well, words can be very powerful, and they can hurt us for a time period, but they don't have to keep us locked down. Now, when we begin to choose the words that are important to us, we can feel better. So if you right now are having an experience in your life where you're feeling sad, if you were right now to choose a different word instead of saying, I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm sad, how about choosing, I'm starting to feel better? I'm starting to feel better. That can take you one step further. Now, after break, we're going to go to some calls, and I'd love to hear from you and have you call in with your questions about your challenges around words and choices. And so we can answer those calls. So the number is right on the screen, or it's 1-866-472-5795. And don't worry if you mess up with your words. You know what? You're human, and it's okay. But one of the tools that I want to give you right now, so if you've got a piece of paper and a pen, this would be great for you to write down. I want you to learn to be gentle with yourself. Now, as I said last week, we are all children learning, right? We're just on the path learning. And if you're committed to your personal growth and continuing to learn towards happiness, then you will be choosing better for you. This is a great tool that I want to share with you, and it's about learning steps and being gentle with yourself. There's 4 learning steps that I share with my clients, and I want to share with everybody today. And I can reevaluate on them again after the break if you'd like. So the first step is called unconscious incompetence. This is the step where you don't know what you don't know. You are in the place of not realizing, hey, I'm not choosing good words for yourself. So maybe before you tuned in today, you didn't know that you weren't choosing better words for yourself. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is conscious incompetence. Now, conscious incompetence means, oh my goodness, I know that I don't know, or that I really bite at this, okay? This is the place that sometimes doesn't feel good because we think, this is not where I want to be. The third step is conscious competence. This is where you're really focusing. You're thinking, okay, I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. And you need to keep it in your forefront of your mind. That's the third step. And the fourth step is unconscious competence. You don't know what you already know so well. It just comes so easily. Now, I often use an analogy of when you were a child, a baby, and before you learned to brush your teeth. You may have watched your parents brushing their teeth and not even thought anything of it. Hey, there's mom and dad, they're brushing their teeth again. That's no big deal. You didn't know what you didn't know. You were in unconscious incompetence. And then they put the toothbrush in your hand, and before you know it, it's down your throat. You've cut your gum. It's up your nose. You've got toothpaste all over your face, and you think, "Oh my God, I really suck at this." So you're in conscious incompetence. I don't know what I'm doing. And then as you begin to practice, like with the piano, with any new skill, then you move to conscious competence. Okay, I really want to get this. I really want to get this. I'm really going to focus. I'm really going to focus. So you're like thinking up, 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 down, back, forth, back, forth, right? Does that make sense? So you're moving into conscious competence. And then before you know it, you're brushing your teeth without thinking. You can get dressed. You can talk on the phone. You can do all sorts of things, walking around the house, whatever it is, while you're brushing your teeth. Now, that may get messy, but you can do more than one thing when you're brushing your teeth. Well, the really great thing is that you can move through all 4 of these steps with anything you choose to learn. But you want to first recognize that there's something you want to evolve on. Now, the biggest thing that I find is, how will I know, Christine, if I want to evolve on something? Well, if you're unhappy with something, maybe there's something additional that you can learn so you can become happier. And that's what words can actually empower us to do. So when you're moving through these steps, I ask you to be gentle with yourself. Whenever you're learning something new, it's going to be tough sometimes. And sometimes you might think, okay, I'm getting it. And then suddenly you turn around and you think, oh, I'm not getting it so great. Well, keep practicing. Keep practicing. And if you can move from one point to the next point, just make 1% change a day, you will begin moving in the right direction. But again, be gentle with yourself. Now, before we go to break, I want you to think about something. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to think about this during the break. I'd like you to bring to mind someone who you believe is successful, whatever you define success as, and think about how they speak. Think about what you hear them saying, how they talk, what are the words, and what are the level of their expectations in their words, okay? Bring somebody to mind and try to visualize that in your mind, and we'll come back to this with callers right after the break. All right? Thank you very much, and we're going to go to break now, and we'll talk very soon.
This is Inspired Choices with intuitive life coach Christine McIver. To be a part of the program today, please, you can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Christine McIver, and we are talking about the power of words and how amazingly powerful they can be. Now, before we cut to break, I had asked you a question about visualizing someone who you believe is successful, whether it's financial success, with relationships, with attracting jobs to them, whether they have just a great attitude. Did you think about, how they speak and what their words are? Were they somebody that talks like this? Hi, how are you today? Not likely, right? They're probably someone who's like, hi, how are you? What's going on in your life? And they truly listen. The power of words and the way that you choose to say it, those words, have a huge, huge impact. Now, if you are using words or using even affirmations, Louise Hay, one of the very first women I ever started listening to when I started on this personal development path of my own, Louise Hay talks about how affirmations are very powerful, but that every single solitary thing that you and I say is, in fact, an affirmation. Everything. Now, if you are someone who has heard about affirmations or you're someone who has used affirmations in the past and you haven't felt like they've worked, well, ask yourself this question. How often are you saying what you consider a positive affirmation, or how often are you saying positive statements? So if you're somebody that wakes up in the morning and says, today's going to be a wonderful day and I'm going to have the best time of my life today, and you say that during the day, and then all day you're dragging your feet through the day going, ugh, is this day over yet? Is it Friday yet? Why are people so miserable around me? Gosh, life really sucks. Are you somebody that does that? Well, do you know what? There's more energy behind all of those negative statements that you're making than the positive statements that you're making. And if you're only saying those positive statements once or maybe twice a day at the most, and you're going through your life saying all of these other things, what do you think is going to be more powerful? And what do you think is going to be attracting more? The positive statements or the negative statements? Here's an interesting fact. We have 60,000 thoughts a day, and 80% of those thoughts are the same that you and I all had yesterday. I'm going to say that again. We have 60,000 thoughts a day, and 80% are the same as yesterday. That is huge. Now think about that for a second. If you have that many thoughts, and you are not consciously choosing your words, do you think that they would have an impact on you? I hope you're saying yes. Your words can give you energy. They can lift you up. And they can also be very powerful in the experience that you are having. Now, before you say something, before a word comes out of your mouth, you usually have a thought. Now, it may be a conscious thought or it may be an unconscious thought, but you have a thought. And then comes a word. And then from that word, or those words that you string together, you then have an experience. So if you are somebody who's feeling sorry for yourself and you say, I'm really very sad. Things aren't going my way. Why do everybody else get everything but I don't? What do you think you're going to be attracting to yourself? You're going to be getting more of a pity party. You are not a victim in your life. You are a creator of your life. Now, I know, because I've been there, that sometimes it feels like things happen to us. Well, I'm telling you that nothing happens to you that you can't, right now, consciously choose to change the direction of. Now, if someone is saying something to you that is hurtful, you haven't asked them to say that, but you can then choose in that moment that they say something to you, how are you going to react and what are the words that you're going to use for yourself and for them. Remember, it's all about you, so you need to choose words that are going to be best for you. When I'm in a situation where I know I'm going to be around someone that maybe I don't necessarily feel comfortable around, I talk to myself and I get myself very grounded and I think, okay, this is all about me. I need to say things that are going to empower me and are going to be the best outcome for me. And I choose not to go into that craziness, to that chaos with that individual. And then here's a second thing that I do, and we were talking about this last week. Breathe. Breathe. When someone is saying something to you that it's impacting you, breathe. Breathing takes back your power. Slow, deep breaths will keep you grounded. And consciously think about the words that you're going to use. Are you trying to be right, or are you trying to be at peace? If you're trying to be right, oftentimes the words you're shooting out at somebody will have an impact back on you. You may feel righteous, but I can tell you that will probably often give you a negative experience later on, because when we are trying to hurt someone else with our words, it cannot help but impact us too. So if you're choosing to use your words for peace, for yourself first, you will choose more consciously, and then things will begin to shift for you. Now, here's a wonderful quote that I want to share with you about the power of words. What we think changes how we feel, and how we feel changes how we heal. That's by Judith Acosta. Isn't that so true? If you are a parent or you're a good friend to someone and they're going through something that's challenging for them, do you not choose your words consciously for them to help heal them? Of course you do. I have children and lots of nieces and nephews, and there's been many, many times where, they've either physically fallen down or emotionally fallen down, and they've turned to me, or I've walked towards them to support them. And I don't just say, suck it up, buttercup, come on, let's move, stop worrying about yourself, don't be such a victim. No, I often will use words that are healing. And what I'm encouraging each and every one of you to do out there is to choose healing words for yourself as well. When you begin to use healing words for yourself, it's amazing how the words can just naturally come out for the people around us. Just like last week when we were talking about the orange tool. When you drink orange juice, right? or pardon me, when you have an orange and you squeeze the orange juice comes out. Well, if you're putting good words into your thoughts and then good words are coming out of your mouth, then goodness is going to come out of you, which is going to help you and help other people. So I absolutely want you to see words as healing. They can heal you and they can help to heal other people around you. Now, here's another question for you. What are the words that you typically use every day? Are they words of, I need to do this. Oh gosh, I should clean that house. I really need to start exercising more. Do those feel like empowering words? Or do they feel like words where you're creating criticism for yourself? Or you're beating yourself up with those words? How would it feel to say, I am choosing to be healthy today. I am choosing to go for a walk because it makes me feel good. Now, whether you go for a walk for 5 minutes or you go for a walk for 20 minutes, you're going to more enjoy that walk than if you're trying to push yourself into it. Criticizing yourself will keep you down. Imagine a small child. If you have a child or you know a small child, imagine saying something critical to them, using critical words towards them. How will they react? Well, their body will probably slump, their shoulders will roll forward, their head will go down. Do you think that you would empower them? Would you inspire them to do something better? Or will you be sending the message, there's something wrong with you? When you are using those words on yourself, I want you to visualize the child that is you, the child that's within you. You're still learning. You're still growing. I always tell people, I'm not done. I'm still baking. I am still very, very much learning about how to be the best me that I can be. And you know what? I'm never going to stop until I'm done. And I don't want to stop. I want to keep moving forward. And I want to encourage you to always be reaching for something that is better so that it's serving your experience. How would it feel to say, today I'm going to have a wonderful day, and to consciously choose to look for only the things that are making your day wonderful? How would that feel? Wouldn't that feel better? Wouldn't that give you a boost? Oh my gosh, there's so many wonderful things in the world, and you are creating the experience of your life by the words that you're choosing. If you are choosing to be critical of other people, those words are going to impact you as well. When we come back from break, I'm going to talk about how science has actually stepped into this realm and how I've been learning a lot more about that and how it can impact us. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think about words that you typically hear yourself saying. What are the words that you hear yourself saying repeatedly? Maybe it's a criticizing word. Maybe it's a blaming word. Maybe it's a pitying word. Do you focus, what one area of your life would you like to be more satisfied in? And then think about the words that you use in that area of your life and how maybe it is or is not impacting you. If you are thinking about your career, are you somebody that talks about your job in a negative way? Are you somebody that says, oh, I hate my job. My boss is such a jerk. I hate going in there. The people I work with are so critical. They're always complaining. Listen to yourself. If those are the words that you're using, you too are complaining. You too are criticizing. And so how is your experience when you go to work going to be better? I'm sure if those are the words that you hear yourself saying, you're not jumping out of bed in the morning going, woohoo, I can't wait to go to work today. I love my job. No, I don't. I hate my job. That's not the way you are going to be if those are the words that you're choosing. If you want to have a different experience, now is the time to wake up to your words. They can completely have an impact and a direction. They can drive you in the right direction. So start with, what do you want? What do you want more happiness in? What do you want more satisfaction in? And then become conscious of your words. Your words will have a huge, huge impact. So tell me about a time. I'd love to hear from someone, love to hear a caller call in I think that there's a lot of people are really nervous about the words that they would use online, but don't be nervous. I'm here. It's all good. Just imagine it's just you and me talking on the phone, girlfriends, friend to friend. All right. I'll see you after the break, and call in with your questions. Okay? Thank you.
This is Inspired Choices with intuitive life coach Christine McIver. To be a part of the program today, please. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Oh, welcome back, everyone. I'm so glad you're here with me. If you're just joining, I'm your host, Christine McIver, and I am someone who is inspired to inspire you. This is something that I have loved to do for many, many years, and I'm so happy to be doing it with you again. We're talking about today about words and how empowering they are. This is something that you can really definitely drive in your life. And how do I become that? That's a question that I have a lot of people say. How do I do that? Where do I start? Well, you know what? If you've ever been to my home or you've ever spoken to me one-on-one, you know that I use a lot of tools. I have tools around me. I'm looking at a calendar right now. It's a Louise Hay calendar. And the calendar says, I am so pleased with where I am and am proud of my accomplishments. Now, some people may say, well, whoop-de-doo, how's that going to change it? I have things around my home that I read often, and I'm putting different thoughts into my mind so that I can choose different words, and that will change my experience. This is so empowering for all of us, and these tools are readily available. Now, if you hear something or you read something that you find really resonates for you, write it down. Put it on a sticky note. You know, another thing that I do, and my clients laugh, they often use my bathroom just so they can see what I've written on the mirror in my bathroom. I often write with a whiteboard marker so it's not permanent. I write different affirmations there that empower me. So this is another tool that you can use. So we have a caller on the line, Carol, and she is calling in today from Canada. Are you with me, Carol?
I am.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for calling in. What is your question today?
Well, I'm just listening to what you've said so far, and something that I've always told myself is I'm stressed out, I'm tired. Now, going by what you've said, is that a wrong thing? Like I'm just trying to be real about it?
No, that's not. You are recognizing how you feel, and that's kind of like the first step, Carol. Okay?
Okay, but should I be choosing different words to describe, like maybe less intense words then?
Yeah, okay. So when you're moving into conscious reality, when you are consciously realizing here's the words that I'm saying, when you realize, hey, those words maybe aren't helping me feel better, what would you choose differently then, Carol?
I guess I've just been so used to classifying as I'm stressed out or I'm tired that I've never really thought about how else I could describe that.
Okay, so tell me something. When you say those words, how does that feel?
Very draining.
Okay, so what do you want? How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel more energized?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So become conscious of this. Now, this doesn't mean that in this very second, when you choose a different word, that's going to change the outcome. But it will begin to move you on the path to feeling better. I'll give you an example, Carol. When oftentimes people will say, I'm sick. Oh, I'm feeling sick. Oh, my goodness, that person over there just sneezed. Now I'm going to get sick. What do they end up doing?
Well,
Two or three.
They end up getting sick because that's what they're programming, correct?
Right. That's what they're focusing on. Imagine that they have binoculars, and that's what they're choosing to shine their binoculars on. That's where they're choosing to look. I can tell you for years, and friends and family and my kids and everybody will tell you that Christine is healthy. What are the words that I use? I have great health. I am always healthy. I choose to be healthy. I do not use that four-letter word, and I believe that S-I-C-K is a four-letter word. Mm-hmm. It does not empower you. So if instead of saying, I am stressed or I'm exhausted, how would it feel just in this moment to take one step forward and say, I'm beginning to feel a bit better?
Okay. Just sort of recognizing where I am, but try and move it on a more energetic kind of energy.
Right, and I want to just point out one word that you just said. You said a word that lots of us say.
Mm-hmm.
You said trying. I'm trying. And that word can have a negative energy to it. In fact, in a way that it's criticizing, Carol.
Okay.
Okay, so if you were saying, I am choosing to use better words. I am now choosing to use better words, not I am trying. But because I am trying is like in the future. And if you continue to use the words I'm trying, you're never going to get there. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. But I never had that pointed out before. As you said, the words I used, I'm trying to think, what did I say?
Right, and it's very, very powerful. So the words like I should, or I need to, or I'm trying, or I'm going to try, all of that is in the future. So always, if you can, consciously choose present words.
Okay.
Okay,
awesome.
that will help you on the path. Thank you so much for calling, Carol.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Okay. Bye. So that's a great question that Carol called in with, and that happens with many of us. We find ourselves saying things repeatedly. Listen to your words. I really encourage you to listen to the words that you're saying. Now, here's something that when I first started on this path about words that I started to do, is when I would make a statement, and Carol, you're going to love this if you're still listening, is if this is someone who's saying, I am very stressed, I'm feeling so stressed today, and then you hear yourself and you go, whoops, whoop, and then suddenly I'll go, cancel, I take that back, cancel, and then you are stepping back into your place of power. You're powerfully choosing your words then. Even when you say cancel, you don't want to send that out to the universe, you want to send something else out there, so just say cancel. That is something that my sister and I did all of the time, and we would laugh. We would absolutely start laughing because, the other one would be hearing that one say something, and then before we knew it, we were laughing because the other one was saying cancel, or we would both simultaneously say, cancel that. You don't want to send that out there. And that's how we became consciously aware of choosing our words. Now, it's so exciting, and, there's a number of different programs out there, and one of the programs that I actually run is called A Complaint-Free World. Complaint-Free World was brought by William Bowen, and William Bowen is a minister of a church, and he wanted to help his congregation to stop complaining, criticizing, and gossiping, all of which are very low negative energy choices to make. And he began this program, and they, along with the program, you get a bracelet. It's a purple bracelet, and if you all know, purple is my favorite color. It's a purple bracelet, and of course I was attracted to it. So you put this bracelet on, it's just a plastic bracelet, and when you find yourself gossiping, criticizing yourself or others, or complaining, you move the bracelet from one arm to the other. Now, there's a lot more to this as you learn to, what is complaining and criticizing, and how do I get my point across if I need to take my power back and tell other people that things need to change. But it is a very excellent program, and one that I do run workshops on. So if you're interested, shoot me an email, and I'll definitely put you on the list for the next time we're running that workshop. It's a phenomenal workshop you can do with kids. You can do in any kind of friend groups. It's a lot of fun when there's several of you doing it together, because sometimes it can be a little hard as you begin to on this path. So if other people are doing it and they're having some challenges, it's kind of fun, and you feel like, it's not just me that's having a little bit of a challenge. But before you know it, you become consciously aware of your words, and you will begin to move in the right direction. So that is a wonderful, wonderful program. Before we went to break as well, I was talking about science and how science is really coming forth with the words. Now, everything in the universe is energy. Science has already proven this. The table I'm sitting at, the desk I'm sitting at, it feels solid, especially when I bang my toe on it, but it is energy, right? Molecules, I wasn't great in science, I'll have to be honest. My poor teacher, he tried to teach me, but I really just wasn't there at the moment. But everything is energy, and everything has an impact, okay? So what the chair I'm sitting on, the phone that I'm on, every single thing, the computer in front of you is energy. It's all molecules coming together to appear solid, but it is energy. Well, they also now have been able to link that words are energy. If you know, we've all seen on a TV show where they're doing a lie detector test, right? And they can see the waves, right? The waves go up and down, saying whether the person's lied or is telling the truth. And that is, it is actually monitoring what's going on inside of the person when they have an impact on, when they say certain words, whether they're telling the truth or they're lying. Well, there's this wonderful book by one of the authors that I read a great deal of, Doreen Virtue, and it's called Angel Words. And that book, I would totally encourage everyone listening to go out and grab that book. You can get it from hayhouse.com. And that book, she did that book together with her son, and they will actually show you visual pictures of positive and negative words, and how positive words will appear on a screen, if you were actually monitoring it on a screen through a computer, how a positive word would be bigger and taller and more robust, and how a negative word would be tighter and more condensed. And it is absolutely amazing. I hardly could believe it when I first saw it. I had to read the whole book cover to cover, and it truly has a huge impact. The way that you start practicing this, and you will start feeling, what is the energy behind this word? I feel great today. Does that feel good, or I feel crappy today? If you're saying those words, there is an energy involved in them. And when you get empowered, and empowering is just taking back and getting educated, getting more knowledge. When you take that knowledge back and you begin to learn about it and you begin to consciously choose your words, you will become more empowered with them. Now, when we come back, we're going to go to some more callers, and I'm going to answer some of your emails. So if you haven't sent them in yet or you haven't called in, please do so. But before we go to break, I want you to think about, what are the words that I'd like to hear other people saying? What are some of the things that I hear that person saying that I don't like? What would I like them to say differently? And how do I think that would be better for me? So think about that when we come back from break. I'd love to hear from you, and we're going to get to a couple more of the questions, okay? So we'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you. Stay tuned.
This is Inspired Choices with intuitive life coach Christine McIver. To be a part of the program today, please, you can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. We're back for the last portion of our show today. I'm so glad you're here with me. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm Christine McIver. I'm an intuitive life coach, HR professional, mom, friend, daughter, all-round crazy person, and I'm okay with that. And what we're doing today is we're talking about the power of words and how you do not need to be a victim anymore in your life, and how you can take control and move in a better direction. Consciously choosing your words gives you the power to do that. Now, if you are listening after today on a replay, please know that you can contact me by email, and I'll do my best to respond to you by email back as soon as possible, or you can contact me through my website at inspiredchoices.ca. You can learn more about myself, what I have to offer, and how I can be of service to you. I'm often running, upcoming workshops, contests. You can get private sessions through that. And you can also connect with me on Facebook at Inspired Choices Inc., Twitter, Inspired Choices, or LinkedIn. So I look forward to connecting with all of you. Okay, so let's get back to the question that I asked before we went to break. Have you thought about someone that uses words and you'd like them to use words differently? Here is a really frustrating but good thing to know. You can't control them. I don't know if you've ever heard that before or if you've ever tried to, but you can't. I have 2 children. God bless them. If they're listening, they'll probably be upset with me, but the fact of the matter is I did try to control their choices. I did try to get them to choose differently. And it was butting the head. And what came of that? Nothing came of that. All that came of it was just more and more frustration. And how did it leave me feeling? Crappy. How did it leave them feeling? Crappy. Well, the fact of the matter is that we can have an impact on other people by the things that we choose and the words that we use. But if you're trying to control someone else, it's not going to happen. You're going to probably create more drama and dilemma in your life. So I have an email here from Karen, and she says, I feel I am always thinking ahead for other people, my family, husband, coworkers. I'm wondering how to install boundaries instead of assuming that they will think or look after themselves or see what is necessary to be done, even the basics. This feeling leaves me resentful and full of anger and depleted. She's trying to manage. You know what? First of all, Karen, I want you to say to yourself, I'm doing the best I can. And I'm open to learning. I'm doing the best I can, and I'm open to learning says you're willing to move perhaps in a different direction to help get a different result. Well, what I'm assuming from your question, Karen, is you are wanting someone else to do something different, and yet they're not, and that's leaving you very frustrated. Well, the wonderful thing I love about your question as well is how do you install boundaries? Boundaries are very important. It's not just for moms, it's not just for dads, it's for everyone. We need to have boundaries in place of loving ourselves first and telling other people this is what works for me. When you speak from a place of, I love who I am, and I'm choosing this for me because this is what feels good for me, you empower someone else to do the same. Now, if you have a child or if you have a partner and you want them to do something differently, communicating what feels good to you and what doesn't is the best place to start. Now, often look at your body language when you're saying this. Are your arms folded? Is your hand on your hips? Are you rolling your eyes, tilting your head? Are you anticipating that they're going to say what they've always said in the past? If that's what you're anticipating, if that's what you're expecting, I can guarantee you 99% of the time you're going to get it. So you have to change your expectations. See that person in your mind's eye that they can choose something differently and that they want. See yourself and them in relationship together in being happier, the both of you being happier. So when you're saying, Karen, to yourself, I want to have a better relationship with my child, with my boss, with my husband, and you say to them, this is what works for me. This is what would make me feel better. I would really appreciate it if we could talk about that and we could get to that place together. You are coming from it, I would suspect, from a different angle. You're going to get a different result. I want you to imagine, Karen, that you're in a dance with, let's say, your husband. You're dancing together, and you've always done the same dance. You've asked him to pick up the laundry, and he said, yeah, later, yeah, later. Then you got mad and stomped away. Then he didn't come to bed for 3 hours. If that's what you've always done and you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result. That's what insanity is, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So if you can come at this from a different angle, from a place of what you want, and saying this is what works for me and this is what doesn't work for me, you will begin to have a different conversation. This is a huge topic when we're talking about other people. And really, as it relates to today, Karen, think about the words that you're using. One of the things that I've often done is I've played a conversation in my mind about what I want to say and how I want to say it. And I visualize that in my mind to help me get to a better outcome. Again, please, please, please be gentle with yourself. You're doing the best you can, and you're working to do even better. Remember, you can master your shift with the words that you're using. They can be so empowering. They can shift your mood. They can shift the outcome. I encourage you. I challenge you. I'm setting a challenge to everybody listening to this call today or tomorrow or next week, whenever you're listening to this radio station. I challenge you to consciously choose your words for 1 week. Think about the words you're choosing. If you choose to not criticize yourself, talk lovingly to yourself. A lot of us, from a health perspective, are saying negative things. I'm fat. I need to lose weight. That doesn't empower you. Think about that small person inside of you. Think about how that would feel if you said that to a small child. How about saying, today I'm going to choose to eat healthy. Today I'm going to choose to love the body I have today, and watch it respond differently. I give an example oftentimes about plants. We have heard this a million times. If you haven't heard it, I'm surprised. But when you talk to a plant, when you play loving music for a plant, when you say, wow, this is a wonderful plant, it will respond differently. The same thing can happen for you. Okay, we're just about done the call today. I feel like I don't have enough time to share everything with you or to answer all your questions. Please tune in. Come back next week. I would love to hear your ideas for the show, what you would love to learn about more. Send me an email. Connect with me on Facebook or Twitter or through my website. And you know what? Who knows what tomorrow will bring? I know, though, that when you choose differently with your words, it will be miraculously different. You can be the deliberate creator of your life if you choose to. And I really encourage you. I send you all love from Guelph, Ontario, Canada. And I will see you next week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Goodbye to everyone, and see you online. Thank you.